Hello everyone and welcome to our latest edition of Radio Kart. I am Joseph Rapp.
And I'm Nelson Ulinski. We've got a special screen capture feature on tap for today, and we'll be using that in our usual news of going over results. And we also hope to use this in an opportunity to show you some tracks that we have raced at recently, mainly being the 206 Cup from 61 Kartway, as well as the Quincy Grand Prix from just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting show. Going over the topics we have for today's show, Nelson. Like we said, Davenport Kartway, their Wednesday night deal, just started last week. 61 Kartway, 206 Cup. You and me both competed last weekend. It was hot and grueling.
Very. I'm not sure I've actually ever raced at a event that was that hot before. Now I can check that off. I've raced in the extreme cold, and I've raced in the extreme heat.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Midwest, folks.
We've got track analysis on board with me at 61 and on board with Nelson at Quincy, and then the Briggs 206 engine having kind of an announcement today that's going to be really exciting, I think, for racers, Nelson.
Yes, it's very futuristic, but incredibly useful. And I think once we get to this, you'll agree that this is going to help out the consumer, as far as the consumer, the buyer of the 206 engine, very much so.
Yeah, so jumping into things, we're going to go to our screen capture here. Wow, look at all those screens. And now we'll go over the points in the Wednesday night series at Davenport Kartway. These are also going to be the results of the first race, because one race, the points are going to be as, they ran. So, starting out with Kid Kart, Thierry Pavlonis. Is that how you would pronounce that, Nelson?
I'd say Thierry Pavlonis.
Okay.
But okay, yes. And Owen Metzger in second, both of which are names that we're both very familiar with from both Davenport Kartway and 61 Kartway as well.
Yep.
So both very well-versed kid kart racers. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see how they play out over this 3-week championship.
Then the Yamaha rookie class, which is actually pretty popular at Davenport Kartway, surprisingly. We haven't seen a lot of them at 61, but Jack Moore got the win. Easton Smith, Isaac Westerhoff, and Ari Goodwin. So those are your 4 drivers.
Yeah, a lot of unfamiliar names. But then again, the notion of having good Yamaha numbers is kind of unfamiliar to us. So
yes.
Congratulations to Davenport Kartway for getting such a strong Yamaha field, not just in juniors, but in seniors as well.
So then we had the Briggs Cadet class, and at the top of that list, there's a name we kind of recognize from our class, Nelson. Nicholas Peppers, of course, his father in the senior 206 class, and I guess like father like son, they're both very, very fast when it comes to the races at Davenport Kartway.
Indeed, and this isn't the first time we've seen his name up near the top on other results. So I'm expecting big things from him as this championship goes on.
Yeah, then we have Christopher James and Aiden Feller following suit behind Nicholas Peppers. Then it was on the Yamaha Junior. 2 drivers in that class, but they put on a pretty good show on Wednesday night because they were right next to each other the whole time, racing side by side.
Yeah, definitely. This kind of goes to show you don't need a lot of karts to have good racing.
Mm-hmm. It was Charlie Moore getting the win. Josh Carlson, of course, we recognize his name from 61. And, of course, his sister races the junior class for Briggs. So the Carlson family, no stranger to racing. He got second in the Yamaha Junior. Briggs Junior, here's a guy who's been on a roll lately, Nelson. Bryce Shaw, he's going to get the win, and he got a couple wins this past week in the 206 Cup.
Yeah, a lot of success for young Mr. Shaw there, and I'll expect no less from him as this series continues. Although I will say, I feel like Kayla Carlson, she could definitely maybe chase him down here at Davenport.
Yeah, she gave him a run for his money. You know, I believe, in every race she had attended, I was hearing she had not been defeated yet. So Bryce, the first to do that at Davenport.
Yeah.
So Kayla was right on his butt, though, that whole race. Had a chance to possibly make a move, but just didn't quite have the speed to get it done.
Yeah, when you have two karts that are very close on speed, even on a track with a lot of passing opportunities, passing's hard. So that'll be another interesting battle to watch over this 3-week series.
And third there you have Logan Graham, which I know a lot of us aren't familiar with from 61, but his home track is Sugar River Raceway, and the only reason he doesn't race at 61 is because their races are on Sunday like ours are, Nelson.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think we'd see him at 61 more often as well, but he came all the way from Wisconsin to come and compete in this Wednesday night deal. Now on to Briggs Sr., and there's our friend Chad Peppers getting the win, but Matt Payway was pretty close to him all night long. Michael Welsh, I think we were both surprised to see Welsh even show up on Wednesday night with the quick turnaround from Quincy.
Yeah, no, even Peppers with all the issues that he had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot of people that we didn't really expect, I guess.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations to those guys for getting their karts back together and ready to race in time, and getting a top 3 finish for Welsh and then winning for Peppers. That's certainly got to feel good after what was a rough weekend for Peppers at Quincy.
Definitely.
Joshua Skelly got 4th, and Brandon
Kopecki.
No,
I don't know. Yeah, we're horrible with names.
Yeah,
if you couldn't tell, we're not the best.
Any of these drivers are listening and they know how to pronounce the name correctly, please submit a voicemail to our offices at Radio Kart. We will be getting that set up shortly for you.
Yes, and any anger on your voice message will be understood to the fullest extent. So, apologies.
In Yamaha Cadet, it was Casey Williams. He was the only driver, but he will get 200 points for showing up. And then in Yamaha Senior, this was the show of the night. Now,
oh, yeah.
Our good friend Carter Pease was in this. Tim Getch, they're getting the win, but Carter was right on his bumper for majority of the race, and a little mistake with about 2 or 3 laps to go kind of built that separation that Getch needed to come away with the victory.
Definitely, and even though he wasn't really up there with the other two, good job on Dittmer for getting a podium, considering that incredibly short turnaround time from Quincy, and then on top of that, all the success that he found in the park at Quincy.
Yeah, and then, he and Michael Welsh were in a heated battle there for that 3rd position. Then, of course, you had Dustin Bloom, Brant Carter, and Mason Ackenbach. Once again, name pronouncing is hard for us, but
I'm going to go on a limb and guess Aschenbach.
So, that is the results from Davenport Kartway for Wednesday night. Now we're going to go to 61 Kartway in the 206 Cup, and yes.
Now, hold on. Before we move on to that, just a little note of the Summer Series. That's the Yamaha Senior and Briggs & Stratton Senior that have the each $500 payout, I believe it is, at the end of this championship.
Another note we need to tell you, too, is that the next race in the Summer Series will be on an oval, which I think has me and Nelson a little bit excited. Should be really interesting. I think we're going to try and make it to that.
Which could impact the show schedule, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be the 27th, literally 1 week from now.
So it will be an interesting to see how the oval goes from Davenport Kartway.
Yeah, and if you're a listener here in the Quad Cities, definitely go out and watch this, because really, you don't have much of an excuse not to. It's Wednesday evening.
Yep.
After, I know everyone has a different work schedule and stuff. Well, after work for most people gets off, it's in downtown Davenport at the fairgrounds. So it's not like it's too far out of town or anything.
Yeah, and here's the Wednesday timeline for all of you that are interested in watching. Kind of a tight timeline. They want to get done as early as possible so they don't have to use a lot of lights and keep the neighbors awake too much. So.
Yes, which actually there is a sound ordinance or whatever, which means that they have to have this done by 10. So if for some reason it is a delayed night, don't worry about it being running too late, because they cannot run past 10, and they will do everything in their power to get all the racing in.
Yep. So with that, on the 206 Cup this weekend, and well, like we said earlier, it was a hot weekend, Nelson, but
yeah, heat index of nearly 105.
That didn't keep the drivers from coming out, though. I believe I heard from Greg Jasperson that this was the most karts they had signed up for the 206 Cup at 61, which is good. The junior field was pretty big.
Oh, yeah. A lot of local guys.
Yeah. So we'll jump right into it. The Sportsman feature on Saturday night. So that kind of helped with the heat a little bit. But Saturday night, the first race under the lights for 206 Cup, and it was Cale Zimmerman, son of Grant Zimmerman, who's in 206 heavy class with us. Cale Zimmerman was getting the win. Josh Fienne came in second. Nicholas Peppers, there's our good friend Peppers showing up again there. Joshua Bolin, Caleb Jager, Joseph Bolin, Brandon Dietrich. Yeah. Miles Doherty, a local guy there. Mary Badgley, Porter Trudell.
That's an R, Joseph.
That's an R.
That is indeed an R.
That is an R.
It is.
Isaac Hendler did not finish that race. You know, that junior class was pretty exciting to watch all weekend. Or sportsman, I should say.
Well, this is what, Junior 1, is it?
Yeah, we call it Junior 1. 206 Cup calls it Sportsman. These are the kids under the age of 12, I believe. So
right. Too old for Kid Kart, but not old enough to race in Junior 2 yet.
Yeah, they put on a big show, and they had a kind of interesting encounter on Sunday, and we'll take you to the feature race results from Sunday for the Sportsman now. This was Sunday afternoon. It was Cale Zimmerman getting the win once again. But I wanted to bring up that wreck that happened on the front side of the track, Nelson. Two guys ran into each other, and they gave each other like a thumbs up after it happened, if you remember right. It was pretty cool to see, I guess, good sportsmanship. It was like, oh, I just ran into you. Thumbs up. And they both kept on running. It was
I mean, it was interesting, definitely. Not sure I'd seen anything quite like that before, to be honest.
So in second was Josh Fienne. I'll let you say names, Nelson, because I keep butchering it.
All right, then. So Sunday feature for Sportsman Briggs was won by Cale Zimmerman. Runner-up, almost 12 seconds behind, was Josh Fienne. And Joshua Bolin rounded out the podium 20 seconds back, but right on his tail was hometown hero Miles Doherty.
That was a huge improvement for him versus the Saturday night race.
Definitely. But if you're looking at the results, you'll see quite a spread here, because Isaac Hendler finished 5 seconds behind them, and you'll have to go almost 20 seconds to find Brandon Dietrich in 6th, and almost a full lap before Porter Trudell in 7th. Cade Yeager and Mary Badgley rounded out the top 9 respectively, and Joseph Bolin rounded out the top 10 respectively, each 1 lap down. Everyone finished. No retirements in this race.
Yeah, there was also that incident that Mary and I believe those 3 that lap down were involved in. About 2 or 3 laps to go.
Yes.
Mary got spun. I believe Joseph Bolin was involved in that, as well as Caleb Jager. So
yeah.
Moving on though to the Coyote Motorsports Senior Heavy class, and well. We were part of this one, Nelson, and Saturday night was a rough night for both of us, I guess you could say. Yeah. It was our friend Nick Oakenfels, though, getting the win, and I was pretty happy for him because he's going for a championship in this North Division here this year.
Yeah.
Grant Zimmerman finished 2nd, Justin Wishard 3rd, Corey Dominic 4th, 5th, myself in 6th. You technically finished ahead of me, but had some problems getting across the scales.
Yeah, well, if you want to be truly technical, I didn't even get 6th because I was downright disqualified for being a pound underweight.
Yeah.
Though I did cross the finish line ahead of you.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, was racing for third or fourth spot, more like holding Justin Wishart up for third spot. And when he got by me, I tried to keep up with him and spun the kart around, so to say, in the garage corner. That'll happen. You got to test the limits. You know, I'm not going for a championship in this series, neither are you now.
Exactly, and that's why I'm not too upset about getting disqualified. Yeah. It's only a pound. It's not going to affect handling or performance that much. Still get to say I competed, so yeah, it doesn't really bother me.
So moving on to Sunday's features for the Coyote Motorsports Senior Heavy Class. Now, Sunday saw a big gain by Grant Zimmerman as he was able to gain 2/10 on the whole field for Sunday and really dominated most of the day. Nick Oakenfels got second, Justin Wishart third, myself fourth. You were able to get up to fifth position, and then Corey Dominic did not finish. He was down in sixth spot.
And just a side note, I almost joined him in that did not finish crew because my left rear seat bracket had broken, which severely affected the cross weight, meaning just finishing, even 40 seconds behind the leader, was quite the challenge that day.
Yeah. I can't imagine driving with the seat feeling like it's going to fall from underneath you every single lap.
Oh, it wasn't even just that, but it was just that the affecting the cross weight like that, that then meant that it would hop every time I went through a right-hander. Yeah. Even getting entirely off the throttle and just coasting through, more violent than going down a dirt road, I swear.
Yeah. So if you want to look at the times, you know, second through fourth on Sunday was pretty even, actually, time-wise. We found a little bit of something Sunday morning, Nelson, that helped us to compete with those guys. And you kind of found out, you know, you had some pretty worn-out tires on Sunday.
At this point, I had over 400 laps on these tires, which I guess is not recommended with the Vega Reds.
So that concludes the senior heavy class. Moving on to kid karts, which I'm glad to see the 206 Cup introducing kid karts into their program. This was Justin Bolin, winning in the kid karts. Followed by Alyssa Eddy, Summit Rossiter, and Colin Eddy. 4 drivers there having probably the time of their lives out there.
Yes. Now, one thing to note here, Colin Eddy was disqualified.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure where he was running before, but he is credited as having the fastest lap in this event by quite a wide margin, so I'd imagine up near the front.
You know, I also wanted to bring up Noah Stark, whose mechanic and tuner was preparing, I believe, 2 out of the 4 kid karts that competed this weekend. So good job by him, and on top of an adult kart he was preparing. And then it was so hot, Nelson, on Sunday. These kid karts, they don't really lay down rubber because they go so slow.
Yeah.
But they were actually picking up rubber off the track on top of the tread they already had. Their tires were increasing in size as the weekend went on.
I mean, that kind of happened with me with how I was just trying to cruise around and finish on the feature on Sunday as well, especially on the rears.
So moving on to Sunday for the kid karts, Justin Mullen would win, and Colin Eddy would get second. So probably about where he was running, right next to Justin in that feature race Saturday. We can guess. Neither one of us watched, so we can't really tell you 100%. Summit Rossiter third, and Alyssa Eddy would get fourth. Now, moving on to the CIK senior class.
Can I do these?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm just kind of enthusiastic about this. I guess that's just because I enjoy the CIK stuff. I don't know. It's just an interesting body style. Anyways, hometown hero Morgan Schuler takes a very tight victory, only a quarter of a second over Randy Wesley, almost 4 seconds back. Jacob Neri takes third, with Chad Peppers finding even more success, grabbing fourth. Dominic D'Alessio rounds out the top 5 while logging the fastest lap of the race, and Chris Rossiter gets 6th. Nate Rossiter, are they brothers?
Yep, they're brothers.
Okay, well, the Rossiter brothers then in the top 7 with Nate 7th. Ethan Dietrich and Aaron Dunn did not manage to finish the race. Ethan being classified 2 laps down and Aaron 7 laps down.
Yeah, Erin, of course, made her 2:06 debut just a couple of weeks ago at 61 and came out here to 2:06 Cup. Obviously, I think she probably learned a lot, but our hometown hero, Morgan Schuler, getting the win was pretty awesome because he got his entry fee back and he got a set of tires for winning. So
yeah,
the hometown hero program certainly giving guys an incentive to go out there and participate.
Yeah, now that was announced a bit later, though, wasn't it?
It was actually announced like a day or two before the 206 Cup at 61.
Yeah, which I was going to say, they should have. I mean, it's great that they have this now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I really think that would have helped get even more people out there if they pushed that a few weeks in advance.
Yeah, well, it's going on for the rest of the season, so hopefully when they go to some of these other tracks later on down the road, there'll be other drivers competing.
It's a great program. Anyways, on Sunday for the CIK senior category, Ethan Dietrich finds some speed after his retirement, taking the win. Randy Wesley also finds speed, finishing an astonishingly only a 10th right behind Ethan. Dominic DeLassio, again with the fastest lap in the race, 3rd. Hometown hero Morgan Schuler with 4th, and Chris Rossiter rounding out the top 5. Aaron Dunn manages to finish on Sunday in 6th, ahead of Jacob Neary in 7th, and Chris's brother Nate rounds out the running order. Every kart on the lead lap, no retirements, no disqualifications.
And, I think interesting to note here, I believe Erin was running in both of the medium class categories this weekend, if I remember right. She was running in the CIK class and the medium class, which we'll probably see as we continue on down the list here.
Yeah.
So the next class is the Viking Kart Products Junior class, and this is where we find another one of our kind of hometown, homegrown drivers, Bryce Shaw.
Well, a few of them.
Yeah. I'll let you go ahead and read off this list as well, Nelson.
Okay. Bryce Shaw, as Joseph announced, winning over an incredibly wide margin, although that didn't keep Emily DeMaster and Jacob Bolin from scrapping out for 2nd, only 3/10 between them to round out the podium. Brandon Wiley got 4th, with Sean Norman behind him in 5th. Will Holtz did not finish, nor did hometown racer Ashton Wheeler.
Yeah, I believe Ashton was having seat problems all day on Saturday, Nelson, so they were scrambling to get that kart just so it would run without him falling out of it, kind of like you.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of people have had that issue this weekend. Aaron had that issue, actually. Carter had that issue. And even Grant Zimmerman said that he was having issues with his seat brackets as well.
Yeah.
Should I continue with the... Okay.
Yeah.
Bryce Shaw is victorious on Sunday in junior as well. Jacob Bolin in 2nd and Emily DeMaster in 3rd, with only 6/10 separating the top 3 in a very close battle.
Mm-hmm.
Another hometown racer, Ashton Wheeler, in 4th, only a 1/3 of a second ahead of Brandon Wiley in 5th. Sean Norman brings up the rear as Will Holtz does not finish in what would have been 7th.
Yeah, this was also a fun class to watch this weekend. All the young drivers involved in the 206 Cup right now, Nelson, shows that the future of this sport is really, really bright, especially with some of our hometown guys doing really well.
Definitely, and I think that just goes to show how they kind of got a leg up on the competition, I suppose, with how they know this track.
Yeah.
Because, this has to be an incredibly difficult track to learn. Even in my multiple years of being here, I'm still learning new things about this place.
Oh, yeah. Especially with the changes they made this year, Nelson.
Yes. You want to do Masters?
Yeah. So on Saturday night, it was Michael Welsh grabbing the victory in the Masters class, and then Ken Paulson was 2nd. He came in a rig with Jesse Clossy. Always good to see those guys at the racetrack. Scott Geitzenauer, a local hometown racer. I believe he was the other hometown hero of the weekend, getting his entry fee back, if I'm correct. Then it was Tim Huss, Jason Eddy, John Shaw, and Ken Johnston. That rounds out the top 7 there. And then we'll move on to Sunday's feature event. Tim Huss would win. Jason Eddy second. John Shaw would get third.
Well, I don't think so, because their credit is not even starting.
Well, he got the third place trophy.
He did?
Yeah, he did end up getting the third place trophy.
I was not aware of that then. All right.
But yeah, really only 2 drivers racing in this class on Sunday. Scott Godsenauer and John Shaw were involved in an incident in the second heat. Scott, I believe, injured his leg a little, so hopefully he's getting better and will be back at the track soon. Ken Johnston did not show up to race on Sunday. He was only a one-day show, had somewhere to be on Sunday.
I believe Father's Day plans.
Yeah, as well as Michael Welsh. He had Father's Day plans as well.
Okay. And may I finish out with the medium?
Oh, yeah.
All right. What many consider to be the premier category, I suppose you could say, of Karts North America.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Jesse Clausief, who has found a lot of success in this series, takes the win over a quarter of a second from Justin Wishart in second. Hometown racer Carter Pease in third. Great success. Not far off the front two. Ethan Dietrich, who also ran in the CIK class, finished fourth, with Kyla Anderson in fifth. Aaron Dunn, another driver pulling double duty, finished sixth. And son of Scott Geitzenauer, Maximus, finished seventh.
Yeah, you know, that medium class was certainly fun to watch. Our friend Carter obviously getting on the podium there, and it looked like on Sunday he had a little bit something more for the field.
Yes, yeah. So, on Sunday, we have Justin Wishart taking the victory. No Jesse Clausie, I see.
Yeah.
Carter Pease finding more speed, up to second. Almost not that far off Justin Wishart's fastest time. Kyla Anderson finds herself on the podium. Maximus Geitzenauer manages to hold off to grab fourth, with Aaron Dunn and Ethan Dietrich not finishing the race.
Yeah, you know, I think the heat was probably getting to our drivers by the time we got through racing on Sunday, and, you know, they had to be getting real tired and probably just at this point happy that the weekend was over and they could go enjoy air conditioning.
I will say, though, and I think that I can't speak for everyone, but in my opinion, I actually think Sunday was better than Saturday temperature-wise. Maybe I was just used to the heat, but it really didn't seem as bad as it was previously. Joseph, what are you doing with the streaming?
I'm testing some things out.
Testing things out. All right, then.
So with that, we will move on to our next segment here, Nelson, which is going to be our track analysis of 61 Kartway, which pretty excited to do here. We will go ahead. I gotta go ahead and make sure this is all loaded up and working properly. But here's the video. GoPro was recording some stats throughout the race, so pretty cool stuff. Coming out of the start here, what's the first thing you're getting out of the start?
Probably how and not just in a notion of trying to be close, but trying to get bumps, trying to get around. It's hard to pass here.
Yeah, and if you got to do your passing, especially if you go 6 steps, you got to do it on the start, which in the essence I was able to do here. They could see Nick Wilkenfeld really hustling Justin Wishart here. here with Radio Kart's own Nelson Jelinski at the Quincy Grand Prix of karting. And this is a completely different atmosphere to go racing at, Nelson.
Oh yeah, very much so. So just some kind of like background, I guess, here. Obviously, first race back in 17 years, and I think everyone was just trying to look at surviving the weekend. That was the way I looked at it, and I even think the front runners to a certain extent were as well. You can just let it play here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I think a lot of us looked at the start. Yes, it's the start. You want to get a lot of passing done here. It's easy, I suppose, if you have a kart that's good in the draft to pass. But at the same time, you know, getting positions is getting positions. Yeah. You'll do what you can. So
really important note about the start here. It's a standstill start, yes, unlike at 61, and you can see just how different the start is.
Yeah, and I lost a lot of ground there. I had a lot of clutch slippage. I'm not quite sure why, but a lot of side-by-side racing, and kind of goes to show what I was saying about the passing. But as we get through here, you see everyone's starting to go into a single file, because at this point you kind of know we gotta sort out where we're gonna run, because we can't stay like this for the whole lap.
Yeah.
So yeah, into this will be a good braking point on the first lap, and then there goes Chad into the wall limit. The draft, like I said, the draft is so important here. Yes, Chad got into the wall, but I also get by to 22 because I get such a toe on him. This left-hander is flat out for the most part. Through here is really interesting. You kind of want to lift, dab on the brakes. I think the super fast guys are going flat out. This corner should be flat out, as is this one. But the line is so important because if you don't enter low enough, the crest will push you out and you'll lose a ton of time. This is another deceptively fast corner. You can carry a ton of speed, as well as through here. The main thing is having confidence in the brakes and the kart and your own skill. You kind of got to warm up to it. This is probably the second longest straight on the track, I believe. Draft is incredibly important here. You can try and pass going to this last corner, which it's flat out to, but you need to show the kart next to you that you're there, or else it will end disastrously. I'm not sure if you could note there, but going into turn 1, there's a slight bump that can unsettle the kart. So you only want to get on the brakes after that, or else that's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
This first turn here, this first major braking zone, is deceptively quick as well. Find out it's more of a momentum corner, actually. You just want to get on the brakes very briefly, slow down, get the kart turned, and then you're on the power before the middle of the corner. You gave me a bit of a scare there, because I will admit getting on the curbing. But yes, so this track, it's mostly about knowing the limits, learning and then knowing the limits of your kart. Because really, if you get into the wall, you're done. Or if you're not done, you really need to be careful not to do it again.
Yeah.
So bravery, knowing how to set up a car, I suppose. Oh, and then playing the draft here, like a little tap on the head there.
Yeah.
Which
I'm trying to get
I didn't have enough acceleration here. So, but you can see with Joseph here, he was not confident enough to be alongside the number 1 that he pulled out. Number 1 did not see him. Okay, so into turn 1, after the brakes, get on the power, and you just want to get through that. Turn 1 is a lot faster than it looks on the map. And then you're flat out for the corresponding bend. But no, momentum through turn 1 is massive because it sets you up to the run down here. And that, I think, is most of what I have to say about this. Anything else you think I should add?
Well, a couple things I want to add. You know, the difference like David is saying between street racing and club racing, the walls, you can't get into them like you were saying. But it's a huge difference because you go club racing, make a mistake, you're off the track.
Yeah.
When you make a mistake here, you're going to break something and you're going to get hard. We saw it with a number of drivers throughout the weekend that I want to take you through some of the names of these corners on the track and then a little bit of my perspective of how this track races. You know, this straightaway here, it almost extends all the way into the horseshoe corner on the track, Nelson, because you get off the gas over the bump, but like all the way throughout the start-finish line, you're on the gas pretty much all the way till you just go on the gas, and on the gas, and on Quincy. You can see though how much, with 30 cart field, Nelson, how much closer the competition gets with this Davenport race round.
Yes, and then of course the draft kind of closes people up as well.
Yeah.
And then the idea of being around people on the track of this nature, when you're out front, you're kind of taking things a bit easier. But when you're behind someone, you have more confidence. You can use them as a reference point, when to brake, when to accelerate, when to turn in, all that good stuff. So just the nature of this track kind of leads to closer racing as well.
Yeah. Kind of like when you go to Rock Island, you know, there's so much on throttle time, the draft has a huge effect. Same kind of thing at Kart, you'll see karts get more spread out because of huge braking zones.
Yeah.
But the draft still has an effect. So, overall, like we said on our last episode, it was a fun event to be a part of. It was a fun track to race, and the elevation change here, you know, I don't think the camera does it justice. So
It really does.
It was huge going downhill in a couple of braking zones, and really feeling the kart gain speed, and going uphill here. And honestly, there were some points when we were going uphill, we had so much speed, I didn't think we realized we were going uphill because we're going so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You can see there difference in lap times with the front runners and the back guys. Really created kind of an hassle all weekend trying to navigate.
So almost like mixed class racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is a little bit of riding along with Nelson Ulinski, kind of his perspective and my perspective around the Quincy Grand Prix of karting. Now we want to go to our last topic. At eKarting News releasing this article earlier today, and it's about the Briggs & Stratton 206 engine. A good, healthy change coming, and it's not bad news at all in any way for people who have the engine currently.
Yeah, no, this should provide some more information, kind of some background. Basically, what the idea is it's a computer chip of sorts built into the seal on the motor that will kind of check engine wear and engine usage over time. So, say someone's selling you a used engine, it's like, well, what's the history here on this engine? Instead of being, you know, like I guess tricked into thinking it has less races on it than it actually does. You know, you can take this into an official, a Briggs & Stratton official, and they'll be like, hook it up to their computer, and they'll be like, no, it's had 3 years worth of racing on it.
Yeah, well, from my understanding, it's as easy as pulling up an app in your phone to
to look
at the data. For those of you that have seen this article and have freaked out and been worried about, oh my gosh, is my engine legal anymore? The current engines that are being raced are completely legal. They will remain legal. The idea is, as time goes on, these engines will get phased out and replaced with these new chip engines. You know, it could take as long as 20 years before they're completely phased out, and even then, they'll never be completely phased out. But it's just really to provide that extra bit of data for the consumer, like you were saying, Nelson. And I think it's going to be great for two-cycle racing, and it shows Briggs & Stratton's commitment to making
great
this
for
class.
two-cycle racing?
Or four-cycle
racing. I was going to say, last time I checked, Joseph.
But it's going to be great for four-cycle racing, and it shows Briggs & Stratton's commitment to this 206 class and making it work for us local racers and keeping grassroots karting fun and affordable. Yeah,
which it's kind of interesting. When you think of adding computer systems to an engine, it's like, whoa, damn, that's some 24 hours of Le Mans type of stuff right there. You know, how expensive is this going to get? No, quite to the contrary. I think this is going to help keep costs down, and you know, like you're saying, it's just going to help the industry in general.
Yeah. With that, I believe you wanted to mention some stuff at Concept Haulers Motor Speedway.
Oh, yes,
too. Probably talk about that a little bit and wrap up the show.
Yeah, well, I think anyone that was aware of doing this has probably heard the news by now. But this morning or late at night, I forget which, folks at Concept Hauler Motor Speedways sent out a email canceling a 5-hour mixed class endurance race that they had scheduled for this Sunday. which it sounds like it was mostly down to poor sign-up numbers, which I think might have something to do with the insane entry fee costs.
Yeah.
And keep in mind here, this is a 5-hour endurance race. If you own a Briggs & Stratton 206, entry fee is $400. If you want to use one of their rentals, I believe it's a bit over $500. And then the elite rental, as they're calling it, is well north of $600.
Yeah, it's
which I would understand those numbers if this is some big like 12-hour race and you're getting guys. This is like a known event and you're getting guys from all across the country. But is this part of your, endurance series? Because they do this type of stuff throughout the year.
Yeah.
Those numbers are a bit out there.
And I think the idea is that they get 4, maybe 5 drivers that come and split that cost between them. But even so, Nelson, it is fairly high. I know I'll stick to the Halloween Grand Prix and that entry fee for now. But, I'm a little disappointed there's not an endurance race going on, as I'm sure you are, and certainly disappointed it's not one we can afford quite as easily.
Yeah.
But
and 5 hours is quite a bit excessive for a kart, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
I think 2 is about the upper limit, I think, as far as endurance racing goes.
Yep. So, that's the news from Concept Haulers Motor Speedway. That will about conclude our show. I got some information from one of our viewers earlier that our noise from the cart was kind of covering some of our speaking that was going on from the video part of our show. So we'll look into hopefully adjusting that or looking into that into the future, making it better. But thank you for listening to this experimental episode of Radio Kart and tuning in with us. Until next time, I'm Joseph Rapp.
And I'm Nelson Ulinsky. And if you have any ideas for what we can do to improve the show or improve our screen share segment, be sure to mention a comment. Or leave a comment.